New breaking details on Hillary Clinton's controversial association with her family's foundation. The new calls for the Democratic nominee to cut ties now and not later are coming from a somewhat surprising place. We'll have details coming up on that next. This is brand new. Just moments ago, the New York Times warning Hillary Clinton big changes are needed at the Clinton Foundation, according to a brand new editorial. And they say that needs to happen now and not wait until if and when she becomes president. Welcome, everybody. Brand new hour of America's Newsroom. I'm Martha McCallum.
And I'm Greg Jarrett in for Bill Hemmer. The Times editorial board voicing major concerns after new emails exposed evidence of pay for play, giving big donors preferential treatment at the State Department. The New York Times is calling for President Bill Clinton to cut all ties to the foundation. Here's a quote. The Clinton Foundation has become a symbol of the Clintons' laudable ambitions, but also of their tangled alliances and their operational opacity. If Mrs. Clinton wins, it could prove a target for her political adversaries. Achieving true distance from the foundation is not only necessary to ensure its effectiveness, it's an ethical imperative for Mrs. Clinton.
Brett Baer joins us now from Special Report. Brett, I'm just going over some of the details in here. You know, I mean, for a long time, this was considered sort of something that, you know, conservatives were piping up about and making a big deal about. But now with this New York Times editorial this morning on their op-ed page, essentially saying that there is absolutely no way she can continue without cutting off complete ties with the foundation in this election. What do you make of it?
This is a big deal for the New York Times to have this thoughtful approach in this editorial to say this is a problem. And it has been a problem. Democrats haven't talked a lot about it. You heard Donna Brazile over the weekend trying to say there's not even smoke here. Yeah. And I think that a lot of Democrats say the election is in her possibility. She's leading, obviously, currently, but they don't want to see something trip her up. And they see this foundation and the possible release of additional emails, the September 13th release of new emails, as a possible trip up for Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, because we know that the judge has said they have to come out over the next couple of weeks. And just, you know, taking a look at some of what's in this editorial, it says Mrs. Clinton became involved in State Department deals and negotiations that also involved foundation donors or board members. She prompted multiple investigations with an arrangement that allowed Huma Abedin, her deputy chief of staff at the State Department and now vice chairwoman of her campaign, to be paid simultaneously by the State Department, and now vice chairwoman of her campaign to be paid simultaneously by the State Department, and Tenio, a consulting firm that involved Doug Band, another name that has come up throughout on this whole thing. I mean, you know, Brett, it's an interesting point that you make, that they want her to put this behind her so that it doesn't continue to dog her in this election.
Yeah, and that is what is kind of hanging over the rest of this election, is what is the thing that potentially is the problem for Hillary Clinton, beyond the honest and trustworthy numbers that we see in the polls, beyond whatever's going to happen in the debates that go forward. I think that the question is, not only did the foundation say we're going to move on and leave Chelsea Clinton as the head, even if Hillary Clinton gets the presidency, but we're going to continue to take foreign donations in the health initiative, and that is a disconnect for a lot of people if she takes office.
So as you point out, we're heading into debate season. And you can easily imagine the questions that should be asked about the foundation, about her connections to the foundation, and then the possible rebuttal by Donald Trump up there if she tries to say, you know, that there was no connection, that there's no smoke there, as you say, Donna Brazile said. And let's put up some of the polls, because we have seen that the discussion about this and the reporting on this in the past couple of weeks appears to have impacted her somewhat. Her lead was 13%. Brett, and is now at 7% in this particular national poll.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the battleground states, it's also very tight, a number of them tightening in recent days. And I think that the concern in the Clinton folks is that, you know, she's not leading by more at this point, considering the coverage of Donald Trump, considering, you know, the past before the last week, the weeks before that, he had a couple bad weeks in a row. Arguably, the Trump people will say he's back on track and he's giving these speeches and he's is making some headway. I think they see this, and obviously the New York Times, as a reflection of a Democratic point of view, sees it as a concern and something that they have to put behind them.
I mean, that period after the DNC, when Donald Trump ran into a lot of trouble with some things that he said, took the focus off of where his campaign wanted it to be. He gave a number of policy speeches and has tried to sort of set the course. And you do that by doing that. And that Hillary Clinton hasn't really done that. She hasn't made the conversation about her policies, what her plans are for the next 4 years, where she wants to take the country. I mean, it seems like it would be high time for her to do that if she wants to get the attention off of all this stuff.
That's exactly right, Martha. I mean, what is the Clinton campaign? What is she running on? Right now, she's mostly running on, I'm not Donald Trump. And you can't afford to have Donald Trump. But what is she really running on? And I think that that is the thing that the debates possibly are going to illuminate the difference between the two candidates.
We'll see. Good to have you in New York.
Yeah,
thanks for being here, Brett. We'll see you soon.